I did something that I had set a goal and I accomplished it. And I did it with my best friend. You're the first person he's booking sight unseen. Like, he doesn't know anything about you. The tag team name's gonna be like Devastation Corporation, transported from the 80s, making towns in the 80s, and they're transported to 2012. I watched King of Trios. Didn't feel like a possibility. We're in the tournament. We did not know the outcome. Winning King of Trios, it's the biggest tournament in America. Easily the best match I've ever had. And we told a great story, and it's the first time he's revealed without hair in the finals of the longest tournament of all time. You're only as good as who you put over at the end. I always wanted to have a good singles championship run, and I didn't understand Chikara at the point. I actually was openly against it.
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. So the slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word, lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around. Yeah, it's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. It's every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's a reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Best for Business. My name is Chris Sanders. I'm pumped for this one. Max Smashmaster, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, buddy.
I'm pumped for this one. It's crazy because I remember you being in that exact location when you used to help book Thrill Zone at the time.
This is exactly where I sat during the
Wow.
pandemic, booking an action figure federation.
I love it. So when we talk pro wrestling, I'm curious for you, how does pro wrestling originally ignite for you?
Oh, Ignite. So I had an older brother. He was 6 years older than me, so I kind of just idolized whatever he did. And, Hulk Hogan was on the screen, so he was watching and I was watching. And still to this day, that's what we both love wrestling. He never got into wrestling, but yeah, I just always I don't know. It was just always around. I never like had one specific moment where it was saying, "Oh, hey, come watch me." It was just always on, and when it was, I was watching it.
So for him, if he's 6 years older, if he doesn't get involved in wrestling, how do you make the approach to get involved?
So like, I mean, I always watched it, and I remember being in first grade, and they have you draw a picture of like, "Oh, what do I want to be when I grow up?" And so many people. I remember the kids at the time, like to me, were putting down like cliche shit. Can I swear on
Yeah,
this?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, they were putting down cliche like I want to be a fucking doctor. I want to be a police officer, fireman. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I'm gonna be the ultimate warrior. So I just drew the ultimate warrior as if it was me, ride in the cart, WrestleMania 3. That's what that is just I remember doing that, and then
Wow.
I knew I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and the first time I was ever allowed to stay up and watch an entire wrestling pay-per-view was Mania 12, and we were Bret Hart kids, like me and my brother are through and through Bret Hart guys, and Shawn beat him, and I was like, well, that's it. Love Shawn Michaels now. Shawn Michaels my guy, and yeah, literally ever since then, like that night, it was like, I'm going to do this as soon as I possibly can.
Wow. What age do you make the attempt to start doing it at the time?
So I signed up at Steve Bradley's school. So we had a fantasy camp. It was, I think, the weekend after the Super Bowl in 2004. It was initially supposed to be around the Super Bowl time, but he pushed it back an extra week, and it was either early February, mid February, somewhere in there. I did a fantasy camp, and it was 3 day. At New England Pro Wrestling Academy, we do one day. It's
Wow.
very, very mild, but 3 day. And the Friday night you go up and you learn how to like bump or whatever. And then all day Saturday was just learning different basics,
Mhm.
you know, but it was like 8 hours. And then on the Sunday, you know, we were planning matches and we had a student show with two
Nice.
days of training. It was pretty wild. So I don't count that as my first match. It was definitely just like fantasy camp stuff, but I definitely had a match, you know, in front of like maybe 40 people just that were friends and family of whoever's at the camp. And after that, I was like, well, I don't have the money yet to pay for a wrestling school. So I just showed up and to every WFA show and I put up the ring and I stood around and I did security for free, just just coming by. And then eventually I signed up. I signed
Wow.
up June 2nd of 2004. That was my first day of training.
Wow. So when you look at this fantasy camp, I'm curious, was there anyone else like at this fantasy camp that you remember? Do you remember that first match?
So I want to actually answer the question you just asked because I
Yeah.
never said the age, but I was 16.
Okay.
Um, I was 16 when that happened. And then, so, you know, GK Durant,
Yeah.
he's an announcer. Yeah, I went to high school with him.
Nice.
He's the one who actually brought me like the flyer, like, hey, there's this fantasy camp. So we went together. You know, we were part of like a little friend group who liked wrestling in
Yeah.
high school. And so he was at that camp. I'm trying to think of anyone else, but no one no one who stuck around. It was really it was only like 11 of us
Yeah.
compared to the size of the camps that we have now. Like it was very, very small.
So you have like more one-on-one time, I'd say?
It's difficult to remember. It was a
Okay.
long time ago. Um, but yeah, there was just Alex Arion, Steve Bradley, and us, and like I think a few students, but I don't remember it at this point. I can only remember Steve and Al being there.
Nice.
And yeah, we we just honestly, it was probably about 15 hours worth of training in three
Wow.
days. This is vulgar, but I remember waking up on that Sunday and I couldn't even take a shit. Like everything in my body hurt so bad,
Yeah.
like I couldn't do anything. But I still got up and I still went to, and everyone felt horrible because all we did was bump the
Mhm.
day before. If I took zero bumps in my life up to that point, I took 50 in that one day, and it was soul crushing.
Wow. I'm curious when you talk about it. You mentioned one name, Steve Bradley. Is there like one lesson or something that stands out that you've learned from him?
Yeah, so unfortunately all of our time with Steve was pretty short. But
Yeah.
one thing I catch myself, and it's very much like a parenting thing, is like I'll catch myself now yelling at my kids saying stuff that my dad said, or in pro wrestling, I catch myself yelling at the students saying the things that I learned from Steve. Um, we have a few sayings at NEPWA that we credit to Steve. One is kind of an overarching one where it's the only heat that gets heat is a motherfucking ass kicking heat. Um, and we say that all the time. And one, I remember the last thing I learned from Steve because I remember the last day I went to the school and he said something to me and it stuck with me. And then it was the last time I saw him. He uh, he said, every pin you should, treat it as if it's the finish. You need to fight for everyone. Don't waste any pinfalls. So I always yell at the students now. It's like pin like you want to win, pin like you want to win. And that's the last thing I remember learning from Steve.
Wow. When I look at your career, your resume keeps going and going. So I'm curious when you look at the beginning, how does the idea come for you to start as the Shane, a part of the Metro Men?
Oh boy, this is there's a lot.
Okay.
So it didn't necessarily start there.
Okay.
When I first had my first match, it was because me and GK Durant, we were the only two students who drove back from Newport, Vermont. Uh, so that's like a 3.5 hour drive from Manchester.
Mm-hmm.
We were the only students who showed up to put up the ring with Steve and Al. Everyone else flaked. So it's me, GK, Steve, and Al, 5 o'clock in the morning, putting the ring up back at the wrestling school on a Sunday, and we're just delirious,
Yeah.
putting it up. And Steve was like, "Oh fuck!" He always had a big chaw, like a big lip of dip in, and he'd be like,
Yeah.
"You fucking kids, like you guys, you want it." We're all delirious. I don't know what pills he was on,
Yeah.
but like it's like he's like, "You guys want it? You guys can have a match at the next Lawrence show." Lawrence is pretty close to where both of us live, so
Nice.
it,
Yeah.
it's it's an easy way to get have us sell 25 tickets. So and we did. We were pumped, but I was only 5 months into training, and
Wow.
he was only like 7 months into training. So that is not a lot of training
Mhm.
uh, to be having like a first match in front of people. Uh, I mean, it's different these days where everything's online always, and you can see, every one of your matches. I maybe saw two of my matches from that age or that era of my career. So that match happened. That's like a nothing throwaway.
Yeah.
That was November 19th of 2004. And then went on, we tried to do some weird thing where he wanted us to be the two horsemen. It was a horrible idea. It was soul crushing.
Yeah.
Because I was like a kid, and I remember it's like Thursday night, we're at practice, we're doing ring crew, and he looks at us and he goes, "You guys need babes. Get babes for the show tomorrow." And I'm like, "I don't have babes now. Like, do you think I'm just gonna go to high school and ask girls like, hey, girls, you want to come to a fake fucking wrestling event?" It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But we found some. Oh, and he also said, "Get suits." I'm like,
Okay.
I'm a 17-year-old. Like, you're lucky I have a suit.
Yeah.
So we had suits and we found some babes. They worked with GK's sister at like a barber shop. Thank God we found some babes. And then Steve's like, we actually had to pay them. Steve wanted him to kiss us on the cheek. It was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
There was that. And then GK got hurt. And Steve's like, well, I don't want to take you off the shows and hinder you because he got hurt. And he's like, we'll figure it out. So it started just doing like little matches here or there. And then one day he calls me in the office. This is a very much a Steve Bradley thing. It's Thursday before a show.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock at night. And he goes, slick your hair back. So, okay. So I just slicked my hair back real quick. And he's like, yeah, you could be a Metro Man. Look at you. Right. I remember, I don't remember what the equivalent of 2004 equivalent of Twink was, but he's like, look at you. You could be a Metro Man. And boom, that was it. I was a Metro Man. I was the Shane.
For those first matches, like with GK, like what was your identity then?
Uh, Terrible names.
Okay.
So, like, we went through a bunch of them. I think my first name was Scott Dizzle, which I was called Dizzle for years and
Yeah.
years and years after that. And then uh, he wanted me to be Sure Shot Shane Sharp, and then he wanted me to be just Shane Sharp, and then he wanted me to be the Shane after that. So nothing stuck until the Shane.
When you mentioned the WFA, I'm curious, what were like I don't want to say, yeah, pretty much the early WFA days like at the time.
It was awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough to not look back on it with rose tinted glasses. I love Steve. I thought Steve did a lot for us. We worked, most Fridays and Saturdays a month.
Yeah.
It was usually like 2 or 3 weekends where we would always do Fridays and Saturdays, and that went on for years. Um, it felt like longer because I was younger.
Hmm.
So I must have had at least like 150 matches just in those like 2 years
Wow.
because I wrestled nonstop for him. And
Hmm.
we didn't have to wrestle anywhere because we were wrestling almost twice a weekend on top of going to practice every week. Like it was easy. We could just go and wrestle for Steve. And um, Steve never really, he booked a few longer storylines. The rest of it was just matches,
Hmm.
but no storyline lasted more than like 2 or 3 shows.
Okay.
Um, but they were fun. It was a blast. Like I'd kill to go back in time and just have it be as simple as it was back then, you know?
Yeah. Looking at your career, for everything you've done in wrestling, what is your first big opportunity to you?
So like I had to get my normal career started for about a year,
Mhm.
two in there. And after Steve died, I got a little,
Yeah.
disenfranchised with pro wrestling. So, but I'm happy I took a little bit of time to make sure that I could kind of always have something to do to make money. And then around 2010, I started hitting it, you know, trying to get out there every single weekend.
Mhm.
Um, Big thanks to like Jeff Costa for allowing me, to into his gym at the time, and
Yeah.
then also allowing me to just kind of wrestle on the little shows that he was doing and whatnot. And that helped me get down to EWA, which was out in Western Mass. Doc Heresy gave me some opportunities at that point that helped me a lot
Mhm.
because he didn't have to, you know. Um, I'd be remiss if I don't mention Sonny Goodspeed also helping me so much in that time in my life. Really, because they just saw that I was working hard and uh, whatever they saw in me, they put me over enough to enough people to the point where 2010, 2011, I was really working just about every weekend. I
Nice.
took any booking I could. I didn't care. I went in and did whatever I could, uh, to learn. And then I met Joey Eastman in that time, and um, I remember I think I watched King of Trios 2011,
Okay.
which was around April, and I saw, and I didn't understand Chikara at the point. I actually was openly against it, from a young, kind of naive and negative uh, kid.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand it, and then I watched that show, and I did, and I saw Generico versus 1, 2, 3 Kid, and then the finale in that. And it was like, oh, this is so much fun. This feels like the WFA that, like kind of the family that um I had known.
Yeah.
Uh it just felt like, whenever Steve was being goofy or having fun, right, we would do some weird stuff on the shows and like we'd all laugh. And whenever I saw the Chikara, I was like, oh, this feels like that, right? It's like
Mhm.
this feels like the the heart and soul of pro wrestling, like going out there and just having a blast, and then the audience will come along with the ride. So I talked to Joe Eastman, and he brought me to a Chikara show, got me, in the back, and it wasn't easy to get a match off YouTube at that point. It was so difficult to like
Mhm.
try to get it onto a disc. Um, so I just hand it to Quack, and he takes it and he just throws it in his bag. Totally understandable. He didn't have to, he's
Yeah.
running a show. He didn't have to pay me any fucking mind. But a few weeks went by, and I was like, Joey, can you please just like ask him if he could watch it just so I can get some feedback? Like, even if he doesn't want to book me, that's fine. I just want any feedback to get better, whatever it is. So I kept hounding Joey, and eventually Joey said, all right, he's going to book you, but you're the first person he's booking sight unseen. Like, he doesn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
So that was how I got my first kind of break, was Joe Eastman really, you know, putting his neck on the line for me.
So when you talk about this first time he's gonna book you, what are you being told, or how does this idea come to be?
So when was it? I'm really good with dates.
Okay.
So I want to say it's January 13th, 20, well,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Sounds
January
about right,
13th,
yeah.
2012. You can fact check me.
Yeah, I'll put the information in the bottom.
It's a show. It's the season premiere of Chikara that year, and it
Okay.
was like Quack versus Green Ants on that show, and that match is so awesome. And like
Yeah.
Green Ant or Harper, he wrestles as Tracy Williams.
Yeah.
He's like Green. He's pretty young in that match,
Uh,
but they're having like this awesome match. And I remember he brought Thomas over, who's my tag team partner, and he brought him over, and that's the first time I met Thomas. Um, and I actually drove down with Sonny Goodspeed and Joey Eastman to that show, and that's when he just kind of like introduced us and said, "You'll be a tag team." And I remember Bryce coming over and like jokingly being like, "Oh, I think the tag team name's gonna be like Devastation Corporation or whatever." Little did I know, Bryce knew more than he was letting on.
okay.
And like as it went, month to month to month, he'd give us like a little bit, like, oh, "Okay, you need like some face paint ideas." So I was crazy, and I just started like doing what is it like MS Paint, and I was just like doing
Yeah.
face paint ideas and sending them off like obnoxiously
Yeah.
sending. What do you think of these? And he's like, "All right, well, let's think more in the character sense." So he told me like what character mindset was. So I just went crazy and started sending him a ton of shit on that. And then eventually he's like, "Okay," uh, I just started sending names, and he's like, "Don't worry about the names." Then we get an email. I probably still have the email, but it was like, "These are the names." And this is something that really sticks with me, and I think we'll probably get into it later, is he sent the names, and it's an immediate gut punch. Like Max Smashmaster and Blaster McMaster are intentionally dumb names. But the caveat is if nobody treats them as dumb, right? Like if the announcers
Yeah.
don't treat them as dumb, if the commentators don't treat them as dumb, eventually the fans won't treat them as dumb. They will just say that's their names.
Yeah.
So you must treat them with like the utmost sincerity. My name is Max Smashmaster. It has been for a long time now.
Yeah.
It is a fucking terrible name. It is one of the worst wrestling names. It's hard to explain to other people. But
Yeah.
with that being said, for the character itself, it's like, oh, it makes total sense. These two guys were accidentally transported from the 80s, making towns in the 80s, and they're transported to 2012, and they're just still making towns. They don't realize they're not in the 80s anymore. They're just, they're just working.
Wow.
And go
No,
ahead.
I was, continue.
Yeah, so it's just that's really where the break came from.
Mm.
That I first started being able to travel outside of New England. At that point, New England was a little bit of a black hole. Like you could wrestle at Chaotic. Beyond wasn't really up and running at that
Yeah.
point. It was just starting. I
And
remember meeting.
Chaotic's like just homegrown talent at that time, right?
Yeah, but Chaotic's always been homegrown
Yeah.
talent. So, but it was good. It was also just difficult to get in there. But yeah, it was local,
Hmm.
right? And that's fine. But I wanted to see outside, at that time Art of Wrestling was on, and that gave me a different perspective, like, oh, there's wrestling everywhere. Like I knew there was, but I just didn't realize that, hey, it might be bigger than New England, it might be better. Oh, the Philly scene's really good. That's not too far. Like I think that's possible. So all the things kind of came together, and that's how I really got in with Chikara.
Yeah, when you talk about originally, you said Joey Eastman was the way into Chikara. Did you know eventually, right off the rip, that Joey Eastman was going to be a part of you guys too?
No, we didn't know.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of exactly how it went down. Uh, but I think Joey didn't know that he was going to be part of it. I remember having conversations where it's like, oh yeah, maybe you guys will have a manager or something. And then it got clued into that he was going to be part of it. And he didn't have a name or anything like that. Actually, Joey came up with the name Sidney Bakabella um, from Ed Schumann. I think Ed Schumann's first manager name was Sidney Bakabella. So that's where Joey took it from.
And then when does Flex RumbleCrunch come in?
So I use this as well, but like a
Yeah.
tag team is good, but if one person isn't there from a tag team, you're kind of screwed. So
Yeah.
um, I had known Sean Burke. Actually, he trained at Steve's for a very short period of time in the summer one year.
Okay.
Um, so I knew him, and then when I saw him in EWA, right, we had a bit of a relationship to be able to say that I knew him prior to,
Yeah.
being there. And then so when I was thinking about it, he'd be great for it. He's big, he's in shape, right? He loves the 80s. Like this is easy. It was a little bit more difficult because he had that Western Mass kind of like stuffy uh pro wrestler. I don't know if you ever noticed that. Um, but he was a little bit stuffy about the character. I think he's very much now like, oh shit, I could have put more into it, but
Yeah.
that I just said, let's get him. And I
Yeah.
actually came up with the name Flex RumbleCrunch. It was supposed to be Flex ThunderCrunch, but Estonian Thunder Frog had just debuted, so we switched it to RumbleCrunch.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when we talk the trio, for you, you talk about originally you come across Chikara, you watch a King of Trios. So all these years later, for you to be in King of Trios, what was that experience like?
And right. So yeah, I watched King of Trios. Not ever It didn't feel like a possibility.
Yeah.
The quality of talent that was in King of Trios every year was like astronomical. Whether it's Claudio or Danielson, later years with AJ and the Bucks, like
Yeah.
it was just it felt unattainable. And I remember being, uh, starting at Chikara. I debut at King of Trios like in Chikara proper. I had done Wrestling is Fun, which was like if you're from New England, what's the one like Let's Wrestle to
Yeah.
Limitless, like that's
Okay.
the jump, right? So like Wrestling is Fun to Chikara. Um, so uh, yeah, I just did that, and um, I was thrilled. I got to be at King of Trios, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the number one goal, and then eventually to go on uh, to 2014, where we're in the tournament. We did not know the outcome.
Okay.
Nobody knew. Like I didn't know what the finish was. I know that I won my match the second night, and then we walked in and we see the sheet, and we're like, oh, okay, we're going to the finals. Nice. And we think we're gonna put over because it was the tag champions
Yeah.
and the heavyweight champion as a trio. So it's like, okay. And then I looked down and we're underlined, and I was like, well, I did not expect that.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a moment at the end of that match where I see, or I'm hyped up, one, because I'm marking out for myself.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm winning King of Trios. It's the biggest tournament in America, other than like Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Definitely the biggest tournament on the East Coast. One of the biggest shows. There's 800 people there. It's just incredible.
Mhm.
And we're having a match, and it's over, and it's working, and the ref counts three. I count along with him because I'm like, fuck yes, this is the best. And I get up and I see Joey. And when we started this thing, we always like not really made a joke, but we were behind each other. We said big things.
Yeah.
Every time we were tired in the car and we were driving down 6, 7 hours to Pennsylvania, or 12 hours to North Carolina, or anything like that, it was like big things, Joey, big
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
And it had been a year and a half at that point that we had been doing it. And it's like, this is it. Like, it's not the pinnacle of pro wrestling. I didn't win the world title at WrestleMania, but like, I did something that I had set a goal and I accomplished it. And I did it with my best friend,
Yeah.
you know? And then I have two new best friends that I made, like friends for life, with Thomas and Sean, right behind me with it. Like, I don't give a fuck if I win the title at WrestleMania. Like, I did this for me. My 7-year-old self watching WrestleMania wanted to do this for me. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do it for anyone else. And I did this for me, and I was fucking elated. I started crying. And Joey's
Nice.
like, "You're you're fucking Max Smashmaster. You're like you're supposed to be a killer. Stop crying." Like But I was just like, it was the best. It
Yeah.
was the best. I have two of the the trios medals on the wall over there. It's just
Wow.
I trying to get the Campeones. That's next on my list.
Let's talk about it because I remember when I originally asked you for the interview, I told you that. Me all the time. I love talking about it with Bakabella. You've had a lot of matches, but to me, this one is just so special. What is it about the 2 out of 3 falls match with the throwbacks?
Man, so whenever I get depressed,
Uh-huh.
sometimes it creeps in on you.
Yeah.
The devil comes for you. I throw on that match, and I just listen to the crowd. I just listen to it. I'll be in the shower and I'll throw it on, and it's just like I know it beat for beat. It's easily the best match I've ever had. We were given like 15 to 18 minutes,
Hmm.
and we went 26. Um, but we were firing on all cylinders,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a one person show. Uh, Everyone was showing up to work. We had a lot of heat with each other going into that match.
Okay. Yeah.
They were they were mad about a few things, like very bullshit wrestling reasons.
Yeah.
Uh, Mr. Touchdown was not happy putting us over, um, just because of some very minor like bullshit in a match that we had a few months earlier.
Okay.
But we got there and it took forever for us to put it together. It took like 2 hours, but we were really happy with it. And I like it because I don't do anything. I almost do nothing in this match. I
Yeah.
do 3 body slams and like some simple counters, and there's other shit in it, but it's like we are working, and Touchdown is selling his ass off, and we structured it and we told a great story of, us abusing the lucha rules as heels, and like I'm I couldn't be happier. Is it perfect? No, but to me it's as perfect as I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
So I fucking love it. That match is very, very special to me. Tell me your thoughts on that match. I'm
I,
gonna
I
I'm gonna hit you with one,
I
Mr.
remember it's
Sanders.
been like a few months since I watched. I remember like right off the rip. I forgot if Mr. Touchdown was it pegged or was it a fan? Somebody threw a football at Bakabella, and I remember him going to try to like attempt to punt it, and he messed
Yeah,
up the first time, and the place went electric. And then I think he did it or something.
he did
Did they
kick it.
throw it back at him or something too?
No, it like bounced off a
And then he
light.
like what do you say? Like he was something with the Dolphins too after that too.
Oh yeah, he runs over to commentary, starts screaming about just like the 72 Dolphins undefeated, something like that. He's out of control in that match. But one thing about that one is that we had built up, you know, just like our names,
Mhm.
we never mentioned how goofy or whatever. We never once mentioned his wig. Never once. We never pointed it out. We
Uh-huh.
never talked about it. Nobody ever talked about it. No one ever called it a toupee. Nothing.
Hmm.
Nothing. That was just his hair. So in the finish, right, he's been fucking with Touchdown. Touchdown grabs his hair. He jumps off the apron, and it's the first time he's revealed without hair. And it's immediately into the finish after that, and where we debuted a new finish that was very violent. And like that's it.
Wow.
The fucking reaction he gets for losing his hair after 2 years is incredible. It,
Yeah.
it's it's great.
So, like, looking at your career, I'm curious. You talk about Chikara, the king of the trios. You've done the tag team titles. For you, what is like that match for Chikara? It's that tag match. Is there any other that stand out? Because Chikara at the time, so unique, but that's what everyone loved about Chikara. I interviewed Dasher Hatfield. He told me he loved it.
Yeah, I loved it. That's probably my best one.
Yeah.
There's a match in Wrestling is Art.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wrestling is Art. It's in Haverhill, which is my hometown.
Nice.
Uh, Point, I think it's called Pointillism. Point, they all have different art
Yeah.
style names. And it's a main event in my hometown, and it is me versus Green Ant with Tracy Williams,
Yeah.
and just one-on-one main event. And I was in charge of promoting those shows, so I would flyer and I would do all the local promotion for it. So whatever crowd came, it's because you know
Yeah.
we were out there hustling. And it's about 100, maybe 120 people. It's not astronomical.
Yeah.
But I showed up to that, and it's funny because it's the only show I've ever walked to from my house. It
Wow.
took me about 4 minutes to walk there. It was so
Yeah.
close. So I walked there, and then I remember looking at Green Ant and being like, "Oh, you got anything?" I was hyped, and he's just like, I'm tired. Maybe we won't do much." And I was like, "No, that's not gonna fly with me."
Oh,
So we called some shit, and we talked about things back and forth. And I know that we had a structure, but I don't think we called everything. And the second we get into the ring, I just slapped him in the face as hard as I could
yeah.
because I knew it would piss him off. And then we were off to the race. We beat the shit out of each other, but in a positive way, to make a story out of nothing. We were cold. It was a
Mhm.
cold main event. Um, but that one's really, really special to me. And then I think any of the title defenses were good. I love the 2 out of 3 falls format. I use that for Rad Pro.
Yeah.
So like the championship match, tag team championship match is always 2 out of 3 falls. That makes it very interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a tag team championship match. It's going to be 2 out of 3 falls, and you can tell a lot of fun stories that way. Um, and then finally losing the belts and leaving someone better you know, than they came into the match is kind of like the ideal title run for me. Is I don't always want to just win forever. I want
Yeah.
to win until I lose it for a meaning, and that's pro wrestling.
Talking pro wrestling, talk Chikara. I forgot the time frame, but is there like a venue or somewhere you got to see through Chikara that stands out?
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
ECW Arena's amazing.
That
Like,
was that where the 2 out of 3 falls was?
yeah,
Okay.
that was at the 2300 or Alhambra. It went through so many names. It's been
Yeah.
2300 for a while, but there's that one. The Logan Square Auditorium
Okay.
in Chicago is awesome. We wrestled in some weird place in Detroit.
Hmm.
It was a gorgeous like music venue. It was beautiful. Um, and that one was cool. But like I think the best one, and even Joe Eastman will say it's the Trocadero in like city center Philadelphia. Like
Hmm.
you're amongst the skyscrapers, and
Wow.
you're in this music venue, and it's a stage, it's the floor, and then there's like 2 sets of balconies similar to, think, what is it, Hammerstein,
Okay. Yeah.
but like
Okay.
think of like the full balcony around, but it's too high, so they're like literally on top of you. And I
Nice.
think we did 1,000 there, and it was like, yeah, they felt like they were on top of you. It was, that is probably my favorite place I've ever wrestled in my life. Yeah.
Talking Chikara for you, I'm curious. When I look at Chikara, there was so many things that was creative about Chikara. Is there anything that stood out when you were part of Challenge of the Immortals? Obviously, Quack trying to implement a lot of stuff with sports. For you, was there anything that stood out for that?
Challenge of the Immortals was crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
How long did it go for?
a year. It
Okay.
was like a
Yeah.
full year, like calendar year, and it was
Yeah.
I can't remember the amount of teams. I think 16 team double elimination round robin tournament.
Yeah.
So I think it was 120 matches over the year. The teams would come. The teams had to fight each other all like twice, and you could do it as a atomicos, which is 4-on-4, trios,
Mhm.
understandable, tag, or singles. So like all these different matches made up of all these different people for the like entire year.
Yeah.
He's a madman, and do all of his things hold up? Like, are they all like an amazing idea? No.
Yeah.
Like Challenge of the Mortals should never be done again, but I'm happy it was done once because one, I'm part of the longest tournament, and I'm in the finals of the longest tournament of all time with
Yeah.
the most matches of all time. Like, never going to be done again. Um, and then that finals is really important to me. Like that match is pretty special, and I did 90% of it with a blown out knee.
Wow. How'd you
So
blow it
yeah,
out?
I did a moonsault. So I caught Princess Kimberly, or Kimberly. She was
Yeah.
like a pretty important female like worker.
Yeah.
I caught her and I went to buckle bomb her, but the way like we set it up, I caught turn 180 and buckle bomb her, but I'm too close to the buckle, so I overshoot the buckle and she lands on the actual metal
Yeah.
turnbuckle. And so she's like almost dying. And I drag her in and I hit a moonsault and I wanted to protect her. So I put my toe down. And when I put my toe down, it just
Yeah.
twisted my whole lower half of my leg. Um, but we got through it and it came out great. And we, you know, the what's the word I'm looking for? The underdog team went over and
Yeah.
everyone cheered, hooray! And it's that's a really fun match. But I couldn't tell you any of the other matches we had in that entire turn.
Yeah. Talking Chikara, there's one person I want to ask you about. Is there one or two? Is there anything that stands out with Jaka? Is there a match or a moment with him?
So Tyson, he was full energy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I have like lots of snapshots
Uh-huh.
because we were always out there together. There's an early one. I think he's in it, where Dragon gets decapitated by Oleg the Usurper, who was also in our team.
Yeah.
Like, Devastation Corporation plus Oleg plus Jaka
Yeah.
was the wrecking crew. And then I always remember Jaka just like being fun in the back. And I don't have any really match memories other than like
Yeah.
him and Kingston having like a pull apart. And I wasn't sure if it was turning into a shoot or not, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
When you look at your career, one thing I'm curious about, you do everything at Chikara, you talk about branching out. How does the idea come for Top Rope, and what was it like for you to win the Spindle City Rumble? And I think, was that
This
year,
is
I
a
forgot, was it 30?
what?
Was it 30 guys in there? Or was it 31?
Well, it was supposed to be 30.
Okay, okay, yeah.
It turned out to be 31.
Okay,
Uh, I think it was Caleb Seltzer took over the book,
okay.
and then he was like, I want to uh, book you. I can't remember exactly what it was,
Hmm.
but that's the only time I ever wrestled there in that period. So I showed up and I eliminated whoever was left in there. And it was a wild scene because it was only 30 people, and then
Yeah,
number 31 comes out, and like nobody knows who the fuck I am. I'm just a Chikara guy. It's not like I'm John Cena.
yeah.
And so I come out. I can't remember who I eliminated last. I remember Ryan Drew being in there and not getting eliminated, and everyone in the back being like, "Why the fuck is Drew still in there?" And they're like, "Go out there and eliminate him." And I was like, "All right," and I just walked out. I can't remember who I eliminated, but yeah, I won, and I'm still owed a Top Rope Pro Wrestling championship match
Did you
because of
not go
that.
back after you won?
Never. I've never been in that building since.
At
Never.
PAL, I assume?
Yeah, haven't been back.
Wow.
That was it.
Wow. There's two matches I want to ask you about when you look at your career. Nobody in Best for Business have said they wrestled them. For first off, anything stood out with Mustache Mountain?
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah.
So we showed up to England, and my fucking dumbass thought it was a good idea to. I was like, well, I'm flying overseas. I should probably just get drunk on this plane and fall asleep.
Is it the whole Chikara roster on the plane with you?
Yeah, it's a disaster. Um, so I drank like four of the little bottles of wine,
Yeah.
and I started to get drunk, and I tried to fall asleep, and it just didn't work. I was just snoring, and people were pissed, and like, um, I remember like groggily waking up to them handing me like the driest breakfast bar ever.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. So I ate that. I drank some orange juice, and we got off the plane, and I didn't understand how the time change was going to work. Like I did zero research before I flew over to England,
Yeah.
and it's fucking 2 in the afternoon. And I'm like, how is it 2 in the afternoon? I just left America at 7 p.m., So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so I'm all fucked up, starting to get hungover, and then we drive to the event, and I have like the worst match of all time. It was voted Botchamania, uh 2015 most botched match of the
Wow.
year. Great. I tell my students that. I was like, you can't fuck up more than me. And then I remember we went to the back and Quack was like, these fucking Brits are pissed because
Yeah.
you guys are all miserable. I'm like, yeah, we just fucking flew over. None of us have slept. Like, so I remember seeing Mustache Mountain and Trent Seven. He was he was pretty pissed about it. And I remember just apologizing. And then we went out drinking again, and I'm still awake. And I'm start drinking Guinness with him, and now we're all best friends again. Hooray! So the next day comes. There's a lot more to this story, but so the next day comes, and um, we show up because they did like I think it was like Fight Club Pro or something.
Okay.
I don't know, I have
Yeah.
the DVD back there, but Fight Club Pro, and then Chikara would come after, and that's how they were doing the shows. I think Gulak wrestled like 7 times in 3 days there. It was
Wow.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we went out and we worked with um, Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, and they were like over as fuck to these
Yeah.
people. And I remember we just had a fun one, and Prince or Tyler Bate was like 17 at the time, and he was fucking stacked and strong, and he was like, I do strongman stuff. I was like, give me a vertical suplex, like a hanging vertical suplex. So like, he's strong, and we did it, and he did it perfect, and I enjoyed that match, and I'm happy obviously that they both did so well,
Yeah.
because they were so talented there. It was like shocking. They were awesome. But those were really, really fun. That
Yeah.
that that whole tour was a blast.
I was gonna say, being at Chikara, just in general, was there anyone that you wrestled or shared a locker room with, like right off the rip, you knew was gonna be a star or big in wrestling?
Marty Jannetty.
Okay.
No, um, no. Yeah, that's always such a weird thing. It's like no matter who I say,
Yeah.
um, it'll always be like, oh yeah, you knew he was going to be a
Yeah.
star,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But I always looked at the people around me and being like, oh, these guys are so fucking good. Like
Yeah.
Chuck Taylor, for all the shit he gets, like he's so fucking awesome. He is so
Yeah.
smart, and he's just one of those ones. Like he may not be respected by every internet fan, but he's respected by all the boys, like 1,000%. I always loved working with Fire Ant. Just so talented. Trying to think of who else that I wrestled there. But there was so many people who came through that, ended up being on TV and
Yeah.
famous and fucking awesome. Like
Yeah.
I wrestled so many fun people there. It was a blast.
The other match I want to ask you about, just for the uniqueness of it, how is it wrestling the BWO?
Oh, fucking Nova is so stiff. Holy shit. Um, Stevie was great.
Yeah.
Love Stevie. Meanie was great.
Yeah.
Love him. Fucking Nova, he beat me up. He beat all of us up. I don't know what was wrong. He just like started kicking Thomas in the knee, like shoot, like leg
Mhm.
kicks to the knee. His forearms were so stiff. He beat up 3.0 like 2 days later too. Like I don't know what his fucking problem was.
Yeah.
Like, did he have something to prove? Like, did he want me to punch him back? I don't know. I'm not just gonna punch Nova in the face like at King of Trios. Like,
Yeah.
fucking fake, bro. I don't know. I like Meanie and Stevie, but Nova sucked. I
And
called
when
him Mark the next day when he wanted to ride to the gym too.
talk about uniqueness, I forgot how many shows they did. Maybe it was like five. How does FWF come? Is this from helping Mark book? How does the
Yeah,
wrestling for FWF?
COVID, baby, COVID.
Yeah.
So friends with Mark Sterling,
Yeah.
and um, when like the Major Wrestling Figure podcast started, um, you can't see it, but there's like right here is hundreds of action figures.
I remember. I was watching it all. Oh yeah.
So I just was, I guess I'll say I was weaseling my way in
Yeah.
because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's about action figures. They're wrestlers. Like I can talk about action figures all day. So I just, I would help Mark, and he would do these like one-off, Monday podcasts for their Patreon, and I would always pop in and do them, and we would do fun stuff. And then eventually it came to that, like, oh, I kind of became like a tangential character on uh the major pod.
Yeah,
And when it came time to booking a show, I was booked. And that's basically it. I mean, we can go through all the matches, but best one was against Cardona for sure.
nice.
You know,
Do you still have the title?
I do still have the title. It's behind me.
So
Yeah,
what are
it's
you up to? How
right
many
here.
defenses?
What's that?
How many defenses?
I beat.
Gangrel,
So
right?
I won it. I beat Cardona.
Yeah,
I beat Gangrel.
yeah,
Who the fuck else was it? I beat someone. Oh, Aaron Rourke.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not like a hardcore wrestler at all. Like, I'd rather not. I'd rather just like, do a few of these, not take a bump,
Yeah.
choke slam someone. But like, yeah, they wanted hardcore wrestling. So yeah, I
Max
have a
Smashmaster, I love
hardcore championship behind me. It's just sitting up there collecting dust.
it. Talking about New England wrestling history, I'm curious, what is your original introduction to Chaotic?
So Chaotic was like the enemy, man. I was
Like, yeah,
WFA. Um, Chaotic was the enemy. Steve hated Chaotic, and he told us all to hate Chaotic. And if we didn't, we were fucking marks. And that was basically my introduction. I
yeah,
knew that Chaotic was around, but um, I didn't dare go. So once Steve took a turn for the worst, and we all kind of, either the school wasn't around or we all parted ways. I did go to like the CTC for a little bit. Um, just wasn't. I didn't have the time to devote to it that
yeah.
I could have. I felt a little bit like, well, I'm already trained, guys. Like, uh, why am I doing like this beginner shit? But that's just being young and dumb.
Yeah. Who was
Um,
the coaches when you were there at the time? Was it Hollow and
I
Dukes or
don't
no?
know. I'll tell you because
Yeah.
Hollow wasn't there. I've
Yeah.
never met Hollow in my entire life.
Wow.
Um, I walked in and all I remember is like Handsome Johnny, and I don't know if Malonis was there, but Max Bauer, and like every time I went, it was like them.
Nice.
And yeah, that's all. It was a short period of time. It was like a
Yeah.
month and a half or so. So I don't know who was actually the trainer. Um, but yeah, it was that was basically it. And then I went away, and when I started coming back in 2010, I'll say this: I love Tarzan. He's my friend. He was booking at the time. They used me for like a few shows here and there, like, and then I heard through the grapevine, it was like, oh, we already got one fat guy. Why do we need two? And it's like, all right, I'll go elsewhere. I had
Yeah.
plenty of bookings. It's not that, it would have been awesome to work there. But it all worked out in the end.
So when do you come back? So is it 2019 or 2020? Or
So, I mean, quite the jump. But
yeah.
yeah, I do eventually get to uh Chaotic. And in 2020,
Okay.
um, there's a lot that happens between that. But yeah, 2020, I do eventually come to Chaotic, and we had a few matches, and then I think in September of 2024 is maybe, yeah, it was September 2024, like Summer Chaos or something. Like, I debuted with this character for the GDC story that we're in now.
Mm. What was it like wrestling during COVID, especially for Chaotic Wrestling, the reloaded tapings?
I was piped. I was piped. I said,
Yeah.
I was hyped.
Yeah.
I hadn't wrestled since 2017. I had to leave wrestling due to a heart condition, and um, right before COVID, like 2 weeks before COVID, I knew I was coming back. I had my gear, I had everything. I was coming back to Chikara, and then COVID happened, and I wasn't able to do that. So I needed an outlet. I knew I could wrestle. So when it was time to wrestle, I said, "Fuck it, why not?"
Mhm. What? So you talk about the creativity in wrestling. What is the inspiration originally behind Arcturus?
Um, I knew that we were doing like a GGC storyline. Chase had just kind of like said like, "Oh, what if it's funny? What if it's like Father Scott?" Right? And that was the original name. It was just like, "What if it's Father Scott?" And you're just like, I have glasses that I wear
Yeah.
every day. So like usually a lot of people see me like this.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't the GGC originally, was it Jerry L the God's
G
greatest creation at first, right?
yes,
Okay.
Jerial, and then he went with I think he brought in Steve.
Hmm.
Jerial blew out his knee. Um, so they wanted to keep the gimmick going, so they added Armani.
Yeah.
And then uh, Armani was ousted, and then I came in. So that's the oh shit, sorry.
They're all
It's
good.
not you, it's me. That's the whole timeline.
Wow.
Yep.
So for you, we see the hype video. For you, what is it like to win the Chaotic Wrestling New England title? We've seen the video before the match of you and Trigga, but Chaotic Wrestling, absolute the stacked show for that one, their biggest I think ever. And for you to set the tone that first match with Trigga the OG, what's that like to win the New England title?
Yeah, so like I I've never the FWF hardcore title is a singles title, but like, I never won a championship. I think like I said with my tag team title win is like you're only as good as who you put over at the end,
Hmm.
you know? Um, so like I always wanted to have a good singles championship run where I have it, I put on, good matches and I put someone over in the end.
Nice.
Whoever that happens to be, we'll see.
Yeah. Talking about love and Chikara and the creativity of wrestling, how far in the bag was this idea of Rad Pro Wrestling? How far of an idea did you have this for?
Rad Pro Rasslin doesn't exist if FWF, like the figure wrestling federation, doesn't exist. Because I had so much fun like booking those shows with Mark, and obviously we were just booking action figures, like
Yeah.
and like scenarios, and honestly, week to week, it was kind of like week to week television
Yeah.
in a joking manner. It was pure entertainment for people in COVID who couldn't watch wrestling or hated watching COVID wrestling, which I don't blame them. Fucking
Yeah.
stinks. Um, so that was so fun. And I was like, wow, this just seems great. Like this seems like the next um possible avenue.
Yeah.
I was already training, but I need a creative outlet. And so I said, I worked with Malonis and we kind of put together and he's like, yeah, just do whatever you want. Like we'll be business partners, but do whatever you want for the creative side. I don't care. I'll be with you. I was like, okay. So I just came up with this wacky idea. And it's all based off of, I can't remember who said it. Someone used to say it on, I don't know if it's Jamie J. Mikowski or Ryan Drew or something, um, where it's like, we all pull from the same talent pool in New England, right? You
Yeah.
can see, and he's my student and I love him, but you can see Mortar wrestle in Chaotic. You can see Mortar wrestle in a number of different places. You're always going to get Mortar, right? Everyone
Yeah.
has an opportunity to get Mortar,
Yeah.
um, which they should. He's great. But how does that make your show unique? That's my thought process is how is my show different? Because why would I offer a chaotic light to our students? They already have chaotic. Why would I offer just another show?
Yeah.
So I used to run a class at New England Pro Wrestling Academy called like Box of Gimmicks, where I would just come up with weird gimmicks for people and they would have to portray them for the class just to get them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
You're a stripper or astronaut. Go, like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And some some work, some fail, but that's part of it. It's like
Yeah. The learning
you
process.
you have to fail. Uh, Another one of our sayings at the school is failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. So try something, fuck it up, and then you'll learn from it.
Yeah.
So I came up with this idea. It's like, well, I can make unique characters. We just cast them as actors, right? Hey, you, I want you to come to wrestling for my show. You don't have to spend any money on gear. Wear whatever you want as long as it's plain. It's the 90s, and this is your gimmick. And one, it's a rep for people to portray a different character. If you do get signed to NXT, you're going to have to go and they're going to say, show me something different. And if you have no reps doing anything different, then what good are you?
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have to learn on the spot. It's not fun being thrown into the fire. So if you can get at least one rep, and I'm not saying my show is going to like prepare people for NXT. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I just know that I have students and I want them to be as mentally and physically prepared for anything that they could ever accomplish. And if I don't do my best to offer that, then I'm not a good trainer. So that's kind of where Rad Pro Rasslin was born out of.
When Rad Pro's first born, is there like I'm curious, what is like the first gimmick or something you think of off the rip?
So I had a few.
Okay.
Eyeless is number one.
Okay.
The gimmick of Eyeless is number one. I've had that for years. It's based on a few different things. I like video games. I like story-based video games. There's a video game called BioShock, and it has these Big Daddy and Little Sister characters, and they're very creepy and like steampunky and very, very cool. So like I have that, and then I'm also a fan of a game called Bloodborne, and there's some really fucked up shit in that. So I kind of like merged them together to make this basically living doll who, is possessed.
Yeah.
And she's also, she's the eyes inside because she has insight into stuff that we don't know.
Yeah.
So that's where Eyeless comes from. And then it can't all be serious. So we have Roberta Ginger Snap, and she's the rapping gangster, the grizzled gangster granny,
Yeah.
Roberta Ginger Snap. There is no other person on earth that could play her as good as LMK does.
Yeah.
People, and I think LMK would agree, is like if you're not booking LMK to be the most entertaining part of your show, like if you want her to go out there and have like the 5-star match of all five, you're fucking up.
Yeah.
She's so entertaining. Like that's what she needs to do. She needs to be out there connecting with the crowd through her entertainment. She's so fucking talented. Um, so there's that one. And then I remember like the last one I came up with is actually the Botanicals, who will return at Forever Rad 96.
Yeah.
I just wanted like a little bartender tag team. And so I came up with Tangray, which is just Tangeray, like the gin. And then Bobby Sapphire, which is Bombay Sapphire. So, and Dante and Jack Tomlinson from Cap, I had spent time with them due to FWF, and I was like, they're perfect. That's like those two would be perfect together.
Yeah.
Boom. So those are the first three, and I said, fuck it, let me get a logo made. And it took a few in late 2022, came up with the idea, had to find a building. Finding a building's tough. It's not easy once you find a building. So we found a brewery. It was the smallest show ever. But yeah, we put it on sale. It sold out 75 tickets fast. So I was like, oh, like a month out, we were sold out. So I was hyped about it. And then came up with the rest of the characters and came up with my, loose idea of where the storylines were gonna go. And we were off to the races.
Do you have any goals with Rad Pro nowadays?
Rad Pro goals, stay open.
Nice. Yeah.
That's always goal number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take it it's a show by show basis. Like you just got to make sure that you sell tickets to the next show.
Yeah.
I I do realize that, this next upcoming year in the Rad Pro kind of universe, it'll be 1997, which is getting closer and closer to not being the 90s anymore.
Yeah.
I've made a lot of jokes where it just ends at New Year's Eve on 1999, like Y2K actually happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully by that point, Jericho is really cheap on the indies.
Yeah.
Y2J can actually happen,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just throwing things out. I don't necessarily know what the end goal of Rad Pro Rasslin is, but
Yeah.
right now it's fun. It's successful in a
Nice.
business sense. That just means it's not losing money.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to have fun doing it. And when it's not fun anymore, it needs to go. Like that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
I want people to enjoy coming to it and watching it and know that their time's not going to be abused while they're there.
Nice. When I look at your career, I'm curious. You talk about you did so much in pro wrestling, you took time off. When you come back, you expect Chikara to be back. The door's shut there. You start doing chaotic, but when does the idea for coaching come into play?
So I actually started training in 2017 at the
Okay.
New England Pro Wrestling Academy. So I was, like I said, I had a heart condition. I had to walk away from pro wrestling. So I just went
Were
to
you
the
kept
rest.
up with wrestling during that time or just completely away from wrestling?
So I mean, it happened in 2016, like when I got diagnosed,
Yeah.
or late 20. No, sorry. I blew out my knee at the end of 2015.
Okay.
Uh, and I had to take time to let it heal. So I came back at the end of 2016 to Chikara. I had a baby in that point, and then 2017 I was, you get that baby kind of like you feel really guilty driving 12 hours out of your
Yeah.
day to go do this, and you leave your wife or whatever. So I remember just being like, okay, where's my crossroads? And then my heart went out of rhythm, and there was a potential for a blood clot in it, and it was a total fucking disaster. I was supposed to wrestle Zack Sabre Jr. at WrestleMania weekend,
Wow.
and that match got canceled because I got diagnosed. And so I wrestled Quack at the end of that year, and I had just started training in like August, and I wasn't supposed to be bumping or anything, but I fucking can't not bump.
Yeah.
So, um, so I started training in 2017. So I was always in it. Like I was never out.
Yeah.
I just went to the school, or I was always in contact with all my friends, and whether I was healing or I was, just on kind of medical leave at that point. But yeah, I got to have my final match with Quack, which is nice to have my final match in Chikara. It's just like a definitive end.
Yeah. So how does coaching come in for Nepwa?
I mean, that's what I mean. I was a
Oh,
trainer. So
yeah.
like I
How,
started as a coach at
yeah.
NEPWA in August of 2017. They opened like on Wednesdays, and it was me and Chase were the Wednesday coaches. So that's when we started
Was
doing.
coaching something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I
Nice.
always liked teaching. I taught culinary arts at a college level. For that, um, I always enjoyed, you know, I went to a technical school, and I had great teachers there, and I always wanted to go and like teach at a technical school, which I did like briefly, but like teaching was always great. I always wanted to be the one who could explain things really well to make it click with someone. So, and wrestling's the thing that I love more than anything. So why not just go right into that?
Yeah. For you as a coach, what was it like for you and Chase to present Ricky Smokes with the WWEID contract and see all the hard work for one of your students paid off?
Yeah. So like we have a lot of students, and um, we try to kind of foster a good community where everyone's uplifting and pushing each other towards that eventual end goal. And to see, Rick get it. This is not me saying I knew Rick would be signed to a WWE ID deal or anything, but like I remember when he first came around, and this was always something I went to Fury, and I was like, this kid's pretty good,
Yeah.
like, hey, he's picking up on stuff. You can tell when someone comes into the wrestling school, and within like the first 2 weeks, they're learning everything that you're telling them. They're athletic. It's like, oh, great. Like, hey, this kid's pretty good. He goes, and Fury always said this whenever anyone said, oh, he's so and so's pretty good, because he saw so many of them come and go. It's like, yeah, hopefully he sticks with it, which is really just it.
Yeah.
You really just got to stick with it. And Rick did, and he only ever progressed. He only ever tried to get better. Um, he is fun and charismatic, and like I couldn't have been happier. He's the prime example of working hard. Like Chase and I, we never made it to WWE. right? We can't sit here and say that we're, you know, star makers.
Mhm.
You make yourself a star. If you're going to be a star, that's up to fucking you, right? Anyone takes credit for making someone a star, what a absolute joke. Like
Mhm.
you have to guide your students. Hey, these are the good decisions. These are the bad decisions. These are things that you're going to be able to do to make your, whether it's your body or your work or your um, personality or your etiquette in the back. Like these are the things that you can do. It's up to that student to say, okay, I'm going to do that,
Yeah.
and make sure that they're the ones who are at the front of the line when it's, you know, when the big dogs come calling. So I couldn't have been happier. He's, like I said, the prime example of working hard and listening to uh, some good advice and coming up with his own his own way up. And yeah, it was great. I've been loved it.
Yeah.
Hopefully more to come.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
it was wonderful. It was the best feeling in the world.
When you look at your career, I'm curious for you personally, who brought the best out of Max Smashmaster?
My wife. No. Let me think. That's a tough question.
Mm,
Um, I'd say probably Thomas, my longtime tag team
yeah.
partner. Right? He was pretty green, but like we were we were in tune.
Yeah.
We were best friends. We talk every day,
Nice.
still to this point. Like when we're in there together, it's like wrestling on autopilot. We each of us know what's going on, what we're doing, where we're going, without any communication. It's just right. He's like my wrestling spouse.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he's definitely probably the one. He's my that's my brother for
Yeah.
life.
For you talked to Rad Pro, does Max Smashmaster in general as a coach or even wrestling have any goals going to the New Year's or anything you set out to do?
Ah, no,
Yeah. Okay.
I wish I did.
Yeah.
Like my goals are to train
That's awesome.
quality students. I mean, you can't go to a show in New England and sometimes even further than that without having a show that doesn't have one of our students on it. And that's the tip of the hat. Like that makes me so happy that they come, they push each other really hard. They uh invest in pro wrestling, you know, with their life. And when it's time to go out and get bookings, they'll go out and get bookings.
Yeah.
That's really it is. I just want to make sure that anyone who comes through our doors has a fighting chance to be a good pro wrestler. That's all I can do. So
Nice.
that's really the goal. Rad Pro, have fun, stay afloat. NEPA continue to grow and be as profitable and prosperous as it is.
Nice. Well, Max, I can't thank you enough for joining me. However, every interview of Best for Business has ended the same. The day you decide it's all done in wrestling, which isn't happening anytime soon, but the day you decide it's all done, what do you want Max Smashmaster's legacy in pro wrestling to be?
Mm. So I'd be a liar if I said I'm not. I'm a pro wrestling trainer because I want one of my students to thank me in their Hall of Fame speech. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's wrestling infamy. Um, I just want one to be remembered as a good trainer. Um, I was kind of a dickhead when I was younger, so hopefully a good person. And I want people to respect me um, for, you know, all the things that I did. Um, just as a peer. That's kind of what I want. And the longer, or you stay alive longer when people keep saying your name, because the second they stop saying your name, you're dead.
Yeah.
So if I could be a good person and people remember me fondly, they'll talk about me a lot longer.
Nice. Well,
Or I
I
could be a
can't thank
total
you enough
dickhead.
for I can't thank you enough for doing this. I told you, I think I did. When I debuted for Chaotic like a year ago, the highlight for me was meeting guys like you, Chase, Brian Logan. The fact that all these years later, I got to interview all you guys. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, of course, buddy. I appreciate what you do. You give an opportunity for people to come and talk and tell their story. And I always talk to my students and say, like, oh, podcasts are great because it's promo work.
Yeah.
You're going here and you just talk, and
Yeah.
it's off the cuff, and you learn how to speak.
Nice.
And yeah, I appreciate what you do, and it's good for all of us.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this, and thank you everybody for watching this episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.